Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey Cappy, I would like for you to give me some wisdom and theories on what would cause a laid-back and chill area to turn into a congested, overpopulated area full of idiots. I have lived in Spotsylvania County, Virginia for over 30 years in the Fredericksburg, Virginia area. 30 years ago, this area was like a ghost town, hardly no traffic. The people were very laid back and friendly with a few assholes mixed in. I understand why growth happens, but now this area is congested and has a much higher percentage of uptight assholes. I'm a fan of smart growth, but these morons will build houses and apartments like crazy and won't do nothing to the roads, which was not made for all the traffic on them. The quality of the people has also declined across the board from all ages, races, and genders. There's a lot more crime. Well, that's because there's more people. I mean, did the crime rate go up? Yeah, there's more crime in New York than there is Ardmore, South Dakota. More crazy people, more assholes, more incompetent people, more bullshit. Once again, I like growth as long as they build good roads and do it wisely. I don't need any advice on how to adapt to it. Basically, I just avoid going out during the peak times and run all my errands close to home in the morning. That happened in the Twin Cities. When I moved here in 1993, it was like one of the few last years where you could drive across the metro area, St. Paul and Minneapolis, even during rush hour, and usually not running into any traffic. Now it's guaranteed. Now I don't work at an office, but when I would make ventures into the city, I always look at traffic. I even, in the 494, 694 circuit, if I ever even look to use that, I look at the traffic, and it reminds me more of Chicago, where like you just didn't drive during rush hour. Run my errands close to home in the morning. I would just like some wisdom and theories on what would cause the quality of people in an area to decline from top to bottom, and why they don't build the roads like they should to accommodate the growth. Your thoughts. Well, let's take a look at Fredericksburg. Are you near D.C.? Fredericksburg, Virginia. You near a city in Virginia? Well, it looks like you're kind of a standalone town. Yes, come on, internet. I paid a lot of money. Jeez, where the hell are you that 5 miles? Yeah, you're just outside D.C. That's 10 miles. You're still... Yeah. Well, let's talk about things specific to your area that I would speculate. And then let's also talk about general. Let's talk about general stuff as to why the population, like small little towns, also become overpopulated. There is general population growth within the United States. Right? If you were in some small podunk town, not near a major metropolitan area, I'd say, well, that'd be interesting. Why are people going there? But you're essentially an extended suburb or an exurb of Washington, D.C. And so it was only inevitably time before the suburbs made it out to Fredericksburg. So it's just math. There's more people. We have more immigrants. People are having more children. They're not having more children, but people are having children. So with the growing population, albeit it's not booming, it's growing consistently. People got to live somewhere. Then there are other general nationwide trends that are also occurring that is not specific to your town or Washington, D.C. Namely, the size of houses have been getting bigger. I'm just looking at the houses, and no offense to white people, but that white people buy. Like, what the fuck? I mean, the McMansion is purely a white person. What is it? Something about white people or things white people like. Wasn't there a website? It's things like, Panera Bread and master's degrees. And McMansions are there. Now, when I used to study real estate a lot more, you looked at the average house in the 1950s, and it was like, I think 1,000 square feet or something, maybe 1,200. Now I don't know what it is, but it's 2 to 3 times that amount. And when you multiply that times millions of people, the surface area that's going to be required to house these people and have these houses built is going to extend out into the burbs. And so you take that once people move out of the city, they want to start, they don't want to live in those icky, gross, they got starter homes. Think about that. Think of the concept. Well, this is a starter home. But what? Bitch, people lived in homes their entire lives. You know, starter home. What suburb are you from? So there's been this push to go out, and I see it, man. I live almost in Wisconsin now, and the houses they're building are just huge, huge. And sure, people live in the city. They want to be where the action is, but once you have kids or once you want to get out of the city, that's where people are going. You could also argue, I guess there's more of a trend in telecommuting, so a little quaint hamlet like yours is attractive. I'd say your hamlet also attracts elitist, snobby, liberal types. Isn't this just wonderful? We're going to move here and vote everything to be different. Because I know more. I have a master's degree and I'm a middle-aged woman. So there's that. You could maybe argue white flight, but I don't think that... I think whatever white flight occurred 60s, 70s, and 80s. That is not that big of a trend, I'd speculate. And then as for the roads, well, yeah, we're not going to spend money on... Look at your budgets. State, federal, local, county, whatever. Look at your budgets. They spend, and it depends, but at the federal level, at least in the state of Minnesota, 2/3 of the money goes to pay lazy people who don't want to work. They go to pay to bail out people of their mistakes. They go to pay for illegitimate children. They go to pay for lazy people. They go to pay for people who are faking mental illness because they're disabled. That's where it goes. It does not go to roads. Even here in the Twin Cities, not just Minneapolis, St. Paul, but they have what's called the Met Council. It's the 7-county area. It's in there. They do the smart growth, well, quote unquote smart growth, and it's in there like, no, we're not going to build any new major roads. We're going to force people to take buses and the choo-choo train. They put in a very expensive, overpriced commuter train that nobody really uses or pays for. And that's another thing is the not even malinvestment, the underinvestment in roads. That's why you have more people. You didn't build up more roads. Look at Dallas. That's a place where like, we got more people, build more roads because Texas fucking rules. But Washington, D.C., the area, yeah, they're not building any more roads. It's gotta go great. And that's happening here in the Twin Cities. That's happening in Chicago. Roads are not sexy. Roads don't buy votes. It's not... we made a train to save the environment, to get communities together. They don't want to help out you hardworking suburbanite people pay for your McMansions by making it easier for you to get to and from the city. So that's the other thing is it's simple math. You got more people among some other trends. They're not even demographic, just larger houses, I'd say, is one of the larger ones. And not as much roads, so now you have more people in a town that wasn't built to handle that many people, let alone the roads. So that's it. Why they don't build roads, I answer that because building roads doesn't buy votes. Like should accommodate growth. Talked about the traffic, and then here's your fourth or third question, whatever. Where you talk about the quality of people in an area declined. That again is a nationwide thing. And even going back into the 80s and the 70s, most people were dicks. I mean, the baby boomers were arrogant, cocky, young person pricks. Now they're old, cocky, young, old person pricks. Gen X was a bunch of dickheads. The millennials are a bunch of worthless quantahahas. But it gets worse every successive generation. If you want to find a mature adult, chances are you're going to have to go to the baby boomer generation. 5 in 10 finally got their heads out of their asses and maybe are responsible adults that are interesting. Gen Xers, you're down to 3 in 10. Millennials, 1 in 10. I don't even know what Gen Z is. I mean, well, most of them aren't even adults just yet. But how people have gone down in quality, I would argue that has nothing to do with being in Fredericksburg, Virginia, or being a suburb of Washington, D.C. I would say it's just, you've been there, 30 years? Oh, yeah, dude, the quality and caliber of people. 30 years ago, you could still play cowboys and Indians as little kids holding your, fake plastic guns and fake cowboy outfits. Now, 30 years ago, maybe I was a little bit too old, but 30 years ago, you could take your bike off of some pretty sweet jumps. You'd get skin knees, you'd shoot each other with pellet guns, be back home by the time the lights are on. The people were just, the kids and the people were just higher quality then. They weren't all winners, but they were higher quality than they are now. Now, your average 30-something in the 80s was like a Reaganomic trying to bust his ass off or her ass off and make some money, buy a house, American dream. Now, today, your average 30-year-old is a social justice warrior who has no skills or talents, expects to be bailed out of their student loans for a stupid degree they got. They are completely entitled. They probably still live at home either physically or effectively financially with parents subsidizing them with helping out with rent and car and things and stuff, and I'm an independent person. All they have is their politics, and now here's where Washington D.C. would have an effect. All you got is liberals, and every once in a while you'll find an honest leftist, like an old school union worker who doesn't realize the Democrat Party has left him and his ilk long ago and replaced him with trust fund babies. But you'll find an honest, hardworking, blue-collar Democrat, who, by today's standard, is a Republican, that, I just think we've got to help the little people, and, these corporations, and it's cute, old man. Your heart's in the right place. Now your average liberal is just a religious zealot. I won't even say ideologue because it's not condemning or descriptive enough. They are a religious zealot for socialism. And they have nothing else. And I'm sorry, whether it's Republican or Democrat or religion, if that's all you got. Have you ever hung out with a Christian nut job? Like a Christian, like what would it be? An extreme Christian? That's all they talk about. An extremist of any kind. I want to talk about socialism and Trump. Hey, I hate Trump, hate Trump, Russia, hate Trump, hate Trump, and Russia, Trump, hate Russia, racist. Boy, that's a fun person to hang out with. And they're also rich, elitist liberals. They never worked a real job. They got their jobs, through government. They think they're important. I remember was it Virgil? They were talking about dating gals. I think it was DC Bachelor. They talk about dating gals in Washington, D.C. and how they thought themselves so highly because of their nonprofit assistant reserve break glass in case of emergency diversity job that was created out of thin air. Well, not out of thin air. Created with taxpayer dollars that had no real value. They didn't do anything. But they were just so proud of their make-work charity job is essentially what it was. And people who don't do real work, academics, government workers, people who've never touched, the Ocasio-Cortezes of the world who've never touched the real world. Well, I guess you worked as a bartender for 6 months. I'd imagine that disproportionately adds to an already decaying quality and caliber of the human pool that's living in Fredericksburg. But in general, though, just the quality and caliber of people has gone to shit nationwide. People are not interesting. They're not independent-minded. The younger you go, the lazier they are. And I'm talking beyond, well, they're just young and stupid. They don't know it. I mean, the amount of brainwashing millennials have gotten has made them dysfunctional adults. You can't even have a conversation with them without it being like, you're racist. Or how do we turn it into my ideology, my religion of politics? I mean, that's all these gals that got their pet projects and nonprofits, and all these guys who want to get those girls' vagina, and they, I believe in that too. Yeah, see my hair on? It's a shit show. So I don't think moving out of Fredericksburg is really going to help you. in that regard, because and you think, oh, I'm going to get to Wyoming. They're a whole new level of stupid, and for other reasons. You just can't escape it. We're just too damn successful as a country. We've made it so soft that our stock of humans are not being challenged or roughed up or galvanized into high quality humans. We're shit. We're filth. We're lazy, no good fucks. I often wonder, like, these hard working Chinese people making all of our shit for near free. They got to be looking at us saying, why the fuck do those easy people get to, like, sip their lattes and wear our clothes while we're working our fingers to the bone and whine and commit suicide? Why don't we go invade them? Let's have their land. But we don't have to argue about magic dirt anymore. So, yeah, wisdom and theories on what would cause the quality of people in an area to decline from top to bottom. Well, a lot of people died in the past 30 years. The people are different. The people nationwide, Fredericksburg or not, are lower quality and caliber. They will not build roads because they've been brainwashed not to build roads because cars are evil, and building roads does not buy votes from the parasitic class, of which is an increasingly large percentage of the population, will be the majority, if not it is already. You know, and I'd get out of town. You've been there 30 years. Go, leave. Can you retire? Can you get the hell out of Dodge? That's what I'd do. There you go. That's it. Questions, answers, links down below. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.